Chapter 14. Regional Kingdoms First. Let's learn. Kingdoms in North India, kingdoms in the Deccan, kingdoms in South India. The history of the early medieval period is centered on power struggles among regional kingdoms of both North and South India, leading to the frequent rise and fall of kingdoms. The Rajputs, the Ghaznavids, the Ghurids, the Palas, the Gurjara Pratiharas were some powerful kingdoms of the north, while in Deccan, the Rashtrakutas were the most dominant among some other lesser-known dynasties. The Pallavas, the Pandyas and the Cholas were the prominent ones in the south. North India, the Rajputs. The word Rajput has been derived from a Sanskrit word Rajputra, which means the son of a king. The Rajputs claim that they are the descendants of the Kshatriyas warrior class of Vedic times. They are generally considered to be divided into three primary vansh. Suryavanshi denotes descent from the solar deity Surya, Chandravanshi from the lunar deity Chandra, and Agnivanshi from the fire deity Agni. The following are some of the important Rajput clans that reigned during this period. Tomars of Delhi. The Tomars rose to power in the 8th century. They founded the city of Dhilika, Delhi. They were small rulers of parts of Delhi and Haryana and were later defeated by Chauhans. Anangpal was the most important Tomar ruler. Chauhans. The Chauhans, also called Chahamanas, dominated the areas of Delhi and Ajmer. The most important Chauhan ruler was Prithviraj Chauhan, 1179 till 1192 CE. It was during his rule that Muhammad Ghori attacked India. Info Hive. It is believed that Prithviraj Chauhan was caught and blinded by Muhammad Ghori. He planned with his poet friend Chand Bardai to kill Muhammad Ghori because Prithviraj Chauhan had the ability to shoot his target even with his closed eyes, and he succeeded in it. Solankis of Gujarat. The Solankis ruled in the region of Kathiawar and its surrounding areas, which were also known as the Chalukyas of Gujarat. They built the Dilwara temples at Mount Abu and the Sun temple at Modhera, Gujarat. Paramaras of Malwa. Bhoja Paramara was a powerful ruler whose capital was Dhar. The Paramaras built the Udyeswar temple at Udaipur, MP. Gahadavalas of Kannauj. The Gahadavalas ruled the region around Kannauj. Muhammad Ghori defeated the Gahadavala king Jayachandra in 1194. Info Hive. Rajputs were also called Agni Kula or fire family. Chandelas of Bundelkhand. The Chandelas ruled in Bundelkhand, the area between the Yamuna and Narmada rivers. Their capital was Khajuraho. Kirti Varman was their most influential king, who built the beautiful temples at Khajuraho. The Ghaznavids. In the period subsequent to 1000 CE, a number of invaders entered India across the mountain passes in the northwest. The first series of Ghaznavid invasions were led by Mahmud, the ruler of Ghazni. Mahmud of Ghazni. Mahmud was a ruler of Ghazni, now in Afghanistan. He wanted to make his small kingdom powerful by raising a large army. For this he needed wealth. He decided to invade India for its wealthy cities and invaded India 17 times in a span of 26 years from 1000 to 1026. The chief aim of his invasion was not to occupy India, but only to raid the cities and temples which were very rich. His first raids were against the Hindu Shahi rulers of Punjab. He defeated Jaipal and Anandpal, getting a large tribute from them. Then he turned his attention to the rich temple towns of India. Places such as Kannauj and Mathura, which he raided in 1018, and Thanishwar were laid to ruins. But it is the memory of his pillage of the Shiva temple at Somnath on the southern coast of Kathiawar in Gujarat in 1026 which was most destructive. All of Somnath's wealth was looted, and even the gemstones embedded in the temple's walls were taken out. From the wealth he got from his raids in the temples in Mathura, Kannauj and Somnath, he built a fine city, mosque, library and museum in Ghazni. He died in 1030. The Ghurids. Ghor was a small kingdom in Afghanistan which was captured by Mahmud Ghazni, who made its ruler his vassal. It was an important part of the kingdom of Ghazni, but after the death of Mahmud of Ghazni in 1030, the Ghaznavids declined in power. Muizzuddin Muhammad declared the independence of Ghor and defeated the Ghaznavids, annexing entire Ghaznavid territories. He is popularly known in history as Muhammad Ghori. Muhammad Ghori. Contrary to Mahmud of Ghazni, who invaded India solely to amass wealth, Muhammad Ghori wanted to occupy India and add it to his empire. After conquering Multan in 1175, his further advance eastward was halted when he was defeated by the ruler of Gujarat. He concluded that Punjab would be a better place to enter into North India. Some Rajput rulers did come to the aid of the ruler of Punjab, but Raja Jai Chandra of Kannauj, however, stayed away. The Rajput ruler of the neighboring kingdom of Delhi and Ajmer, Prithviraj Chauhan, challenged him. Prithviraj Chauhan was later captured and all his territories were annexed by Muhammad Ghori. He took Punjab under his control in 1190. The Battles of Terain. Prithviraj Chauhan defeated Muhammad Ghori in 1191 in the First Battle of Terain, a place about 80 miles from Delhi. But he committed a grave mistake of not freeing Punjab from the Ghurids. As a consequence, Muhammad Ghori attacked the very next year with due preparation and defeated Prithviraj Chauhan in 1192 CE at the same place. Brain tickler. Who was Rani Sanyogita? Unfortunately, other Indian kings did not help Prithviraj Chauhan this time. 2 years later, in 1194, Muhammad Ghori defeated Jai Chandra, the ruler of Kannauj, in the Battle of Chandavar. Later, he overran the entire Ganga-Jamna Doab region, left his trusted generals to administer the conquered land, and returned home to Ghor. These two battles laid the foundation of Muslim rule in India and increased invasions from the northwestern frontier. Muhammad Ghori was assassinated in 1206 CE. Struggle for Kannauj. Kannauj was a strategically important city in North India. Its location gave whoever held Kannauj leverage to control the resources, minerals, agriculture, trade of the entire Ganga Valley. Since the 8th century, the Palas, Gurjar, Pratiharas and Rashtrakutas from Deccan were engaged in a tripartite struggle to control Kannauj. This struggle lasted for over 2 centuries and weakened all the 3 dynasties. The Palas. The Palas ruled in the region forming the territories of present-day Bihar, Jharkhand and West Bengal. This dynasty was founded by Gopala in 750 CE. Gopala and his successor and son Dharmapal were able kings and founded a powerful kingdom. Devpal was another powerful king of the dynasty. At the height of 9th century, the Pala Empire was the dominant power in North India, with its territory stretching across Bangladesh, East and North India, Nepal and parts of modern-day Pakistan and Afghanistan. The Palas expanded and strengthened the army and made their subjects prosperous. They encouraged trade with Southeastern Asian countries and maintained friendly relations with other countries, including Tibet. They were Buddhists and encouraged Buddhism, and built viharas and revived the Nalanda University. Later in the 12th century, the Palas were overpowered by Sena dynasty, which in turn was defeated by Muslim invaders after a brief rule. The Gurjar Pratiharas. The Gurjara Pratiharas ruled over parts of Rajasthan and Gujarat. They rose to power in about 725 CE, and their most powerful king was Bhoj, 836 to 882 CE. He conquered Kannauj and made it his capital. The son of Bhoj, Mahendrapal, further expanded his empire, and the Pratihara kings built magnificent temples and buildings in Kannauj. Mahendrapal's successors, however, proved to be weak rulers and could not withstand repeated invasions. Info Hive. Bhoj was a devotee of Lord Vishnu. Mahmud of Ghazni defeated the Pratihara ruler in 1018. Soon the dynasty came to an end. The Deccan. The area between the Narmada and the Krishna rivers, comprising present-day Maharashtra and parts of Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Odisha is known as the Deccan. The Deccan saw the rise and fall of a number of dynasties and empires. But Rashtrakutas were powerful rulers of the Deccan at the time. The Rashtrakutas rose to power in the 8th century under Dante Durga. His successor Krishna I was also a great conqueror. He ruled in the northwestern Deccan around modern Maharashtra and made Malkhed near modern Sholapur his capital. This dynasty had many ambitious rulers who fought in the north as well as in the south. In the north, the Rashtrakutas fought several times with the Palas and Pratiharas in a bid to have control over Kannauj. In the south, they clashed with the Pallavas and the Pandyas and the Cholas. These continuous battles did them no good as they became very weak, and finally their rule came to an end in the 10th century. The Rashtrakutas were great patrons of the art, architecture and literature. The famous Kailasa temple at Ellora and the rock-cut caves at Elephanta were carved during the reign of the Rashtrakutas. The Rashtrakuta rulers also encouraged the growth of regional languages, especially Kannada. Other kingdoms: Yadavas of Devagiri. Bhilama founded the kingdom in 12th century, and soon these rulers had their control over areas between the Narmada and Godavari rivers. Info Hive. During the Rashtrakuta rule, artisans and craftsmen operated as guilds. Flourishing trade made the kingdom prosperous. In the 14th century, their territories were annexed by Khalji rulers. Chalukyas. The Chalukyas of Kalyani, also known as the later Chalukyas or the Western Chalukyas, had their influence around Aihole, Badami and Patadakal. Vikramanka, the dynasty's most powerful ruler, and his successors built several temples in these places. The rule of the Chalukyas is considered to be a milestone in the history of South India. It is also known as the Golden Age of Karnataka. Chalukyas took control of and consolidated the entire region between the Kaveri and Narmada rivers. The empire had an efficient administration, overseas trade and a new style of architecture known as the Chalukyan architecture. Kakatiyas. Kakatiyas of Warangal rose to power in the 12th and 13th centuries in the territories between the Godavari and the Krishna rivers. Ganpati was their most important ruler. They were patrons of literature and religion. When Marco Polo visited their kingdom, he wrote about them and said that the rulers patronized Shaivism, though Vaishnavism and Jainism also flourished. They also encouraged literary creations in Sanskrit and Telugu. Their rule came to an end when they were conquered by the sultans of Delhi in early 14th century. Hoysalas of Dwar Samudra ruled in regions which come under modern Karnataka. Vishnuvardhan was their most powerful ruler. They were finally annexed by the Delhi Sultanate in the 14th century. South India. The important and the powerful three kingdoms in South India were the Pallavas, the Pandyas and the Cholas, who were constantly engaged in a struggle for supremacy amongst themselves. The Pallavas. As we have learnt earlier, the Pallavas came to power in 7th and 8th centuries. Their capital was at Kanchi. Over a period of time, they built a strong kingdom. The Pallavas had a taste for art and architecture. The rock-cut temples at Mahabalipuram are attributed to them. However, they were finally defeated in the 9th century by the Cholas, and with this their rule came to an end. Narasimhavarman I, II were the most powerful rulers. The Pandyas. The Pandyas ruled the area around Madurai, which was their capital and an important center of learning. The dynasty was founded by Kadungan 590 to 620 CE. Marco Polo wrote about their kingdom in detail when he chronicled his visit to India. This dynasty declined in the 14th century. The Cholas. The Cholas ruled in South India for about 4 centuries and their capital was at Tanjore, now Thanjavur. The Chola dynasty was founded by Vijayalaya 846 to 871 CE, who ruled the territory north of river Kaveri, but it rose to prominence under Parantaka 907 to 955 CE in the 10th century. He was, however, defeated by Rashtrakuta king Krishna III in the Battle of Takulam in 949 CE. The Cholas attained glory under the rules of Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra Chola, who made the Cholas the most powerful and prosperous empire in South India. Rajaraj Chola 985 to 1016 CE. Rajaraj Chola, also known as Rajaraja I, was a brilliant general and administrator. He had a strong army who defeated the Pandyas and the Cheras. With the help of his strong navy, he annexed parts of Ceylon, Sri Lanka, and the Maldive Islands. He also controlled trade along the coastal areas. The traders in his kingdom had good trade relations with southern China and other southeastern countries. Rajendra Chola 1016 to 1044 CE. Rajendra Chola, son of Rajaraja Chola, ascended the throne after his father. He continued with his father's policy of expansionism and with an even stronger army. He defeated the Cheras, the Chalukyas, and pushed towards the north. He defeated the Palas in West Bengal and pushed right up to the bank of the Ganga river. After this victory, he took the title of Gangai Konda Chola, or the Chola who brought back the water of the Ganga. He also built a new capital city near Tanjore, which he named Gangai Konda Cholapuram, or the city of the conqueror of the Ganga. Like his father, Rajendra Chola had a strong navy. He undertook a most daring campaign in Southeast Asia. Info Hive. It is believed that Rajendra Chola, who took the title of Gangai Konda Chola, brought water from Ganga river enough to fill a temple tank at Gangai Konda Cholapuram. He wanted to secure the trade route of Indian merchants with southern China and southeast countries. The ships had to pass through the Straits of Molucca, held by Sri Vijaya, presently the Malaya Peninsula and Sumatra. The Indian merchants were harassed by the merchants of Sri Vijaya. At this, Rajendra Chola sent his naval fleet and defeated the ruler of Sri Vijaya. The trade with these countries made his kingdom prosperous and strong. The successors of the Chola dynasty had to wage battles with neighboring kingdoms, and this continuous fighting weakened the empire and led to his decline. This dynasty came to an end towards the end of 13th century CE. Cultural achievements. Temples. The Cholas were great temple builders. Most of their temples reflect the Dravidian style. The celebrated Saiva temple at Thanjavur, appropriately called Brihadeswara, is the grandest creation of the Chola Emperor Rajaraja and a living example of Chola architecture. It is now a World Heritage Site. Sculpture. A rich tradition of sculpture was followed during the Chola rule. The images of gods and goddesses were sculpted from stone and bronze. The bronze image of Nataraja, Lord Shiva in dancing form, is among the finest specimens of Chola art. Language and literature. The Chola period witnessed the growth of regional languages such as Tamil, Telugu and Kannada. Many literary works like the Ramayana, the Mahabharata and other Puranas were translated into these languages. Administration. The Cholas divided their territory into mandalams or provinces administered by governors. These were further divided into valanadus or districts. Each valanadu consisted of a number of villages. The village called Adu or Kuram was the lowest unit. The administration of important towns or nagarams such as Tanjore, Kanchi and Puhar was directly under the central rule. Village assemblies. Local self-government was a special feature of the Chola administration. The smallest unit of administration was a village. There were two assemblies, Ur and Sabha, in each village, which were a form of the local Suk. There were two assemblies, Ur and Sabha, in each village, which were a form of local self-government. These looked after various aspects of village life through committees. The Ur was a general assembly of all members of the village, while the Sabha was a committee of all male members. The Sabha was responsible for all works in the village, which it executed through various committees, such as the Irrigation Committee for Irrigation, Road Committee for Construction of Roads, etc. Agrarian expansion in Tamil region. The Chola kingdom paid attention to agriculture and trade. It brought more areas under cultivation, including barren and forest land, and dug canals and ponds in order to provide irrigation facilities. The temples were rich, so their resources were used to set up irrigation projects. Prosperity of the people resulted in a larger population, so more areas were brought under cultivation. Also, effort was made to get more produce from the existing cultivable land. With the expansion of agriculture, a boost was provided to crafts and industries. As the population spread out, trade in various commodities spread. An extensive network of trade guilds participated actively in trade, and the merchants too invested a share of their capital in agriculture because spices and other products were in great demand in other countries. New philosophies. Many new religious sects arose in this period. Basava founded the Lingayata, worshipping Shivalingam sect in the 12th century. Shankaracharya preached the Advaita, God is one philosophy. Ramanuja and Madhava were the other religious teacher reformers who brought the concept of bhakti or complete devotion to God, which became very popular in the south. Recap. Some powerful Rajput kingdoms around 1050 CE were the Tomars, the Chauhans, the Solankis, the Paramaras, the Gahadavalas, and the Chandelas. The important dynasties to rule in Deccan during the early medieval period included the Rashtrakutas, Yadavas, Chalukyas, Kakatiyas, and Hoysalas. The Pallavas, Pandyas, and Cholas were the prominent dynasties of medieval South India. The Cholas ruled South India for about 4 centuries with their capital at Tanjore. The important Chola rulers were Parantaka, Raja Raja Chola, and Rajendra Chola. The Chola rulers were efficient administrators and generals with several victories to their credit, including naval expeditions. The concept of bhakti, complete devotion to God, became very popular in the south.